Hello, everyone. My name is Greatman Ayilara, and I'm excited to also be on your screen again this very moment where we will be exploring our intelligence and also our being as human to talk about the issue of prayer and if it is necessary and why do people pray? What is prayer doing for us? Who do we pray to? Of what necessity is this thing called prayer? Remember what I always tell you, that you are a God and you can do all things. Do all things. Now, what is prayer to an average person? You might be hearing some noise in the background. That's basically because of where I am right now. And the neighborhood is pretty noisy. Now we move on to talk about our bone of contention for today, prayer. You must have heard people say, pray until something happens. And then they apply a lot of emotionalism to prayer, asking you to pray harder, pray persistently, pray without ceasing, pray, 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 pray. I know if of a certain denomination that will judge the effectiveness of your prayer according to the posture you are assuming at a point in time. So if you're not crying, if you're not sweating, if you're not shouting, they don't think you're praying. And to most people in religion, prayer is simply a way of dialing a 911, a rescue number, an emergency number for someone in outer space or someone who is so divine to come to your rescue. Prayer is simply a kind of signaling to the aliens, to the immortals, to come to the aid of the mortal. And it's so funny that most times the reason why we do some of the things that we categorized as spiritual things is because we are running away from the physical thing. Now, I will tell you a story. I want you to stay with me. And please do go ahead and press your share button so that other people can also benefit from this liberation. A certain man is called Jinadu. Let's use that name, Jinadu, for this man. He was so loved by the whole neighborhood. And is such a perfect man that no one could find a fault in Jinadu. But there's something, one thing that is the problem of Jinadu. It is his addiction to alcohol. He has gone for counseling, for therapy, and all of those things. It wasn't working. And the wife of Jinadu, who is Fatima, threatened him and told him, I'm going to leave you with all these 8 children if you don't stop drinking. And Jinadu promised, I am never going to drink again. I love you. I'm ready to do anything for you. I'm not going to drink again. And it so happened one day that Jinadu had to go out with his friends and they managed to convince him to drink. And the moment he took a sip, he started going for more and more bottles until he became drunk. And on his way home, he fell into the gutters, wounded himself, blood covering his face and every part of him. When he got home, he realized his wife was already asleep. And so he quickly crept into the toilet, washed himself up to the best of his knowledge, and dressed himself, dressed his face, and he went to bed. Now, the following morning, the wife, Fatima, woke up and said, Jinadu, I will leave you. You made me a promise and you are not keeping to it. I'm going to leave you. And Jinadu started saying, I've never drank all this while. I told you, I made you promise. I didn't go back to drinking and all that. And the wife told him to follow her. And he followed the wife to the bathroom, to the washroom. And the wife said, look at the mirror. And when Jinadu saw the mirror, he realized that he actually put the bandage he was meant to put on his face that was supposed to cover his wound from his wife. He put this bandage on the mirror. And suddenly he realized that he couldn't do any more than to say the truth. And the wife said, I am not angry with you because you got drunk. I am angry with you because you got drunk to the point of putting the bandage in the face of the mirror instead of your own face. This is what we do most of the time when we take poison and expect someone else to die. We get ourselves injured and put the bandage on the face of the mirror instead of our own face, expecting a miracle, a divine intervention. There are a lot of Jinodus in the world today, especially in the continent of Africa. This continent is my business. Who decided to shy away from responsibility, and instead of putting a bandage on their own face to cover their wound and start healing, to cover their shame, they put a bandage on the mirror and expect a miracle to happen to them. So every single time when they meet a deadlock or they hit a challenge or they step on a bump, or what they do is to call out for this divine and heavenly host, these aliens, to come to their aid. When what it takes to change their situation is right before their face, but they choose to put a bandage on the mirror instead of their face. Your fathers were not praying when they ought to act. Our ancestors were not sitting idle, doing the sign of the crucifix, sprinkling the holy water, drinking the Goya oil, taking the blood of whoever it is, going to the mountains, going to the valley to address the situation and the circumstances they find themselves. They took responsibility, and because they know that they are the God they had to pray to, the definition of prayer to them is not just blabbing on some words. It is getting down to action to change the course of your life in the direction you want it to go. Religion brought something to you. The other day I cited an example of a stallion, a horse, who is more powerful than the rider. But because it subjected its mentality, its strength, its mind to the rider and accepted this decoration of dependency called breeding, he lost his mind and he's been reading to the point of his own death. Now today, they have given you something as a way to encourage you And instead of that encouraging you to become who you are, that diminishes you to a point where you perpetually be at the mercy of another. Prayer puts you at the mercy of another. Have you ever noticed that one of the cogent and most significant characteristics of prayer is begging, and pleading? Either you are praying to one God or you are praying to a Lord in a law court. You always beg. You beg. You beg and you reduce yourself below the level of the animals in the wild. Even they do not give up without a fight. Only mankind is the only creature in this world that give up before death. And they give up in such a shameful way that they could not even kick back. Why? Because they put their life in the hand of God and say, if it is your will, how can you want something so badly and then you put a condition of impossibility on it by saying, if it is the will of something you have never seen, something you have never met, something you do not even have assurance is in existence, and you say, if it is thy will, O Lord, let this and this happen. And because you subject your own potential to the will of something you cannot see and someone whom you cannot see, what happens to you is that you reduce yourself down below the threshold of the value of a beast in the wild. So we talk about prayer. Is it necessary? Why does mankind pray? What is the effect of prayer on us? You see, if you think critically and look inward yourself, you will realize that the ability to get things done is not something that you will ever pray for. It is it is inherent in you. You have desires, you have wishes, you have will, you have prospect, you have dreams. You have it. You were not sold the idea of having dreams. It is part of your humanity. And do you know that nothing can get what you want done for you than you who first conceived that thing? Either in your mental space, in your imagination, in your mind, whatever space you find it. Because the moment you conceive that idea, what happens to you is that you became a God that created that idea. Imagine you creating a dream and begging someone else to fulfill it for you. Have you ever thought about it that way? Imagine you sat down, you created a dream. Now let's for once trace a step back to your scripture now. So you can, well, let's start an example. They said, a God sat in heaven and said, come, let us now create. So the subject of creation started from the thought pattern and the mindset of the thinking of a certain deity called God. And whenever you see a woman you love, you create the love for that person. Say, love is not something that is in existence and you fall into. So people say, I fell in love with you. No, I created the love for you. That's proper. There's a lot of things we need to still unlearn. Because we live a life of accident. We live an accidental life. That's why we believe in destiny, faith, and karma. We believe in all of these things because we turned ourselves to an animal of instinct instead of us to work with our intuition. The words I say might be too complex and very hard for some people to understand. It is not for this generation. It is for your children and their children unborn. They will meet it online somehow. You were born by a stranger. They were born by a stranger. When you saw them in your mental space, you created a certain kind of atmosphere that you want to use in relating with that particular individual. And you call it the atmosphere of love that carries its own peculiar emotion and different kind of dynamism with it. And so what you call love is relative. What you call love is unique from one person to another. So the way you will show me love is different from the way you will show another person love. Even if you have 5 children and you are the best parent in the world, there is disparity in the kind of love you show to all of them. Now, this love is not a default setting. It is something that you created for yourself. Are you getting my logic? You created the love according to the disposition of this person towards you, or according to your own desire or disposition towards that person. So whatever it is that you get done is a product of your own thought, and your thought is your creation. Then you became God. Now, how about you apply it to academic success? You so much desire to be successful, and you wait for a God to come and make you successful on the things that you were the creator of. You get the logic now? Are you with me? Everybody go to institution. Some created success for themselves, some created failure for themselves. Nobody stumbled on things that they didn't create. Institution of learning is neutral. It is neither a place of success or a place of failure. Human beings or students or pupils make of institution what they want to get from it. So my determination is my own creature. I created the determination to be successful. Now I became a god of my own destiny. You know, that's where I want to get to. My destination in this institution is to be successful. I have created a destination for myself. Now, in creating a destination for myself, I am the God and the creator, the Almighty over the destination I have created for myself. Now, getting to that destination is now not destiny. It is no more fate. It is not karma. It is my doing. It is my creation, because I do not believe that something should happen to me accidentally. I make happen what I want strictly in my life as a person who now live with the mentality and mindset that I am a God. So I'm asking, what kind of situation or destination are you creating for yourself now? Now you check it out. It depends on how much God you become over that situation in life. These things, religion will not hand over this key into your hands. And because you know that you were the creator of your future, you were the creator of the destiny you are going to or destination you want to fall into, you do not pray to another thing that did not create that destination for you to help you get there. All you do is what? You get down to business and you start working it out. One singular thing they told you is this. They said all things work together for good for those who love what? Who love God. Now I'm going to give you a definition of that scripture now. I say all things work together for good for those who love themselves. And you know, the first point of loving yourself is discovering who you are. You can't love what you don't know, right? You know, you can't love what you don't know. So if you think of yourself less than what you are, whatever love you show to the lesser version of you is not true love, because you are not showing the right amount of love to who you are. So what are you? A slave? Just a son? A servant? Or a God? All of these status, you can attain any of them. If I were you, I would go for the best and the highest. Everyone who have resorted to praying on things they could make happen always end up failing. Say, the most frustrated human being in the world, depressed human being in the world, are those who believe in miracles and divine intervention. Have you seen them? Always moody today, happy tomorrow, blah blah, and all of those things. They are always complaining. And they live at the mercy of either their pastor, their imam, their yogis, their spiritualist, and their God. Now, because mankind has come to terms with their powerlessness and mortal nature, they always look out for something more divine, something more beautiful, something more intelligent than them, something not in existence, to come to their aid. In the Western world, when you are having issues, what you do is you book an appointment with a counselor, right? Or maybe a psychiatric or psychologist. So when you book this appointment, whatever goes on between you and this psychiatrist or psychologist or counselor is a moment of prayer. It's a moment of prayer. Why? Because you have accepted or agreed in your mind, you have conquered and defeated yourself that you cannot help yourself. So you need someone better than you that you can pray to or consult to come to your aid. So I'm trying to see how I can relate with what they do in prayer with how we live our daily life. So we go to this counselor, this therapist, this psychologist, this psychiatric, because what? Because we have lost our mind. And we need someone to find it for us. How possible is that? You are with me, right? Are you getting my point? You lost your mind. Your mind is yours. In every word you say, I have lost my mind. Help me find it. It is your mind. You lost it. And you want someone else to find it for you. If it is your mind, if you lost it, you should be the one who find it. But because you counted yourself as defeated, powerless, not enough, neither human nor divine, you look for someone you think is more intelligent than you are, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist, or a counselor to help you arrange your life and help you find your mind. Whatever happens between the time you sit with him, talk with her, is what we call prayer. Not because you are not better than this person, but because for a moment you subjected yourself to whatever it is that this person prescribed to you as financing. And what do you do? What do? You pay them for their time. See, the price of not finding you is that you enrich other people to look for you. The price of not finding you is that you pay other people to look for you. Manage the English. I'm going to break it down. When you finish consulting them, you pay them sometimes per hour, per week, and all that. And what they say to you at the end of the day is that the solution to your problem is where? Is still within you. Having paid them, having spent time, energy, emotion, money with them, you are still the one to go find a solution to your problem. So when you count whatever it is you spent with them, you can be tantamount or be named a fool, because what you lost is your responsibility to find. And do you know what? So many people have gone into these sessions and they came back another person, because I will never accurately prescribe you to yourself. Thank you very much. Some of them haven't gone to these therapists and all those things because I do not know you. You know you. You are you, God. You are the God you're looking for. You are the help. Everything you need is within you. For me not to look powerless, I find a new personality, a different kind of prescription I give to you, and for the rest of your life, you remain miserable. And that's why I will use a synthetic oil to service an engine that is using an hybrid oil, just because I want you to keep coming for servicing. I have tampered with your engine, and I'll tell you, you need to bring it for servicing all of the time. And in that wise, you make me rich. I don't know what I'm doing. You would know what you want. You don't even know where to go to. And where you should go to is not me, it's you. But how confident and comfortable are you within you when you lost you? So I give you hopes and I tell you to come back for more. You book appointment and follow up. For a moment now, go back to the place of prayer. That's what you do. When you reach out to a divine being, someone who is an alien, to come to your aid, when all you need to do is right within you. When you finish with the therapist and the counselors, in the midst of what you're talking about, they don't have a solution that is external. From what you say is where they get your solution from. That shows that whatever it is you are looking for is right within you. If you are a good listener, you realize that people who want to talk to you are actually telling you about their solution, which they cannot see for themselves. Now, the culture of always talking, just blabbing, was given to you by religion so that the treasure of listening, either to yourself, to the nature that surrounds you, to others, can be taken away from you at the price of performing a ritual. And the funny thing is, you will never find what you are looking for. When you kneel down to pray to that supreme being, if what you need is to drink water and you pray for your thirst to be quenched, do you know if you don't go back to drink water, you will still die of thirst? Do you know? If you never bothered to pray and you went to drink water, you will be more effective. You will save more time and energy than the one who went to pray first and then came back to drink water. Let's not consider the one who went to pray and never bothered to drink water. So what is most useful and most important in your life as man, as human? Is it critical thinking or fire-burn prayer? I ask. Between thinking critically, debugging a situation you find yourself, and praying in tongue or whatever it is, all kind of prayers, which one is more effective? Because having prayed to this God, you will still go to do what you need to do. Until you get what you need to do done, even your prayer is useless. But do you know there are people who, when they step into your situation, they are able to figure out this is what you are not to do and all that. And they are not smarter than you. Only because you stop thinking. You stop thinking. And whenever a man knows that he has an option, he will never be able to maximize whatever it is he has at time. This critical thinking is about the only option your ancestor had. So they brought it and said, this is option B. So because you saw an option B, which is praying to one unseen God, you left critical thinking and you cling on to God. See where God has taken you thus far. Let me use another dimension now. People have been sold for the idea of prayer to the point that it has become an addiction for them. Why do you pray? You're running from a problem, right? Is that not why you pray? You need help. You want this problem to go away. That's why you pray, right? That's why you pray. You need this problem to go away. People that use drugs. People that take alcohol to stupor. People that take heroin. What is it that you are doing that is different from what they are doing? They want this problem to go away. So they get high on something. And the exact feeling you have when you pray, there's the same kind of oxytocin, endorphin, whatever, and in that comes to your body when you pray. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I will not cry for you. I will not cry for you. Because sometimes when I also come to the reality that I've also been a fool, I pity myself. That moment of prayer, that moment when you speak in tongue, that moment when you are so pious, what you say is you are having perfect communication with one God in heaven. And what you start seeing visions of different kind of fantasies. And if you are in the head of someone who is high on a cocaine, on a drug, on a drink at that point in time, you both are on the same frequency. You're seeing the same thing. You are high the same way. And for that moment, you forget about the problem in this planet, this plane, because you are high. The same emotion, the same feeling, the same chemical release that is being given or that permeates the head and the brain and the blood of the one who is high on cocaine, drugs, and all that. There's the same exact kind of chemicals that is released when you get into intense level of prayer. You know the funniest thing? When you stop the prayer, the problem is still there. When the drug and its effect wear out of those who took it, the problem is still there staring at them. When the alcohol suddenly go away, the problem is right there waiting for them. The testimony you share is not because God came to your rescue. The testimony you share is because when you could not take it any longer, you sprang into action. The action you should have taken before praying or without praying, you went back to do it after praying. Either you like it or not, you answered your own prayer by taking responsibility and getting down to work. Even unbelievers, they achieve success in life. Even those who worship Satan, whatever it is that you all worship, because there's no difference between those who worship Jesus and those who worship Satan. You all are religious folks. So stop discriminating against yourself. Those are your brothers. The same thing. So that's why I think people will say, I have to give 10% of my money to one God in the sky so that I can get more, are the most stupid people in the world. Now, I don't mean to be rude. Because even those who don't do that, they are richer than you. You are the one working for those who are. You see the irony of life now? So this prayer is a systematic delay in responsibility and an intentional sabotage of your mind. A responsible government, a responsible citizen, a responsible man, a responsible woman, when they meet with situation, what they first look out for is analysis, not prayer. And those who are critical in thinking, who can analyze well, they hardly believe in all this nonsense of God, come and help me. Have you ever noticed why the atheists are smarter than you? Those guys who don't believe. Have you ever wondered why they are smarter than you? Have you ever wondered why they are the one who are holding the key position in the world today in terms of wealth and money? Have you ever wondered? You will not wonder now because you are high on God. You are high, set and almost high gang. You are high on God. And these are the people you call Antichrist today. You develop conspiracy theories that they want to kill you with vaccine and all that because of foolishness. Smarter than you. So they give you a script to write. So while you are busy developing one theory against another theory, they keep making money off you. Why? Because you make them even more popular. I'm telling you the truth, most of these guys are more popular than your Jesus now. People who have not heard about your Jesus have heard about most of these atheists that you so think they are after your life because they are smart. Do you think any God is blessing your pastor and your bishops because they serve him or they serve it? No. Your bishop is wealthy. Your yogi is wealthy. Your spiritualist is wealthy because of sense. They use common sense. So while they use their common sense to get the stipends from you and become millionaires, they take yours away alongside with your money. And they tell you to pray while they think. I read in a part of your scripture that says, come, let us reason together. It didn't say, come, let us pray together. Even your God said, I need your brain. I need your sense. Can you reason with me? How many of you are reasoning? So what happened with a drug addict or a drug user? They get hooked on that substance, such that if they don't see the substance, they feel incomplete. Is that not what's happening to you right now? When you wake up in the morning, if you don't kneel down or do your quiet time, you feel as if you are offended. The same feeling of inadequacy, the same feeling of emptiness, the same kind of feeling that those who are addicted to drugs are having, is the same one you have when you don't follow those rituals. You have the mouth, the infantry, the audacity to call them destitute when you are more miserable than them. So when you want to take a trip now, when you get to the airport, you get to the seashore, you get to the park, you need to take a portion of your substance, that prayer. Before we move on, let us pray, blah, blah, blah. Which, until you do that, you do not have confidence that you will get your destination. So you look away from, what about the mechanical system of this vehicle? Is everything in order? Is the road fine? The person who is sailing this ship, flying this jet, driving this bus or this car, are they mentally balanced? What about their eyesight? Can they see very well? You suddenly forgot all those things. This car, is there enough fuel? Is there enough oil? Is there enough water? Is the brake working? Are the tires okay? You forgot suddenly because you are mad inside. Because at the moment these drug addicts want to take the substance, they do not mind to sell their house at a very low rate. They don't have their thinking in place again, just the way you don't have your thinking in place when prayer is called. Oh, some call it 5 times in a day, while some call it endlessly, some hourly, some maybe once in a week or something. Can you see that you are also a destitute? You are also mad. You are also silly. You are also foolish. You are also empty. You need help. Can you see what is happening? Have you thought about these things this way? So before you eat, you pray. You go to the toilet, you pray. You wake up, you pray. You want to sleep, you pray. You are going out, you pray. You're so addicted to this, but you call those who are addicted to porn, to masturbation, to drugs, destitute. You say they need help when you also need to be rehabilitated. Because the more prayerful you are, the more useless you become. Prayer is pushing your responsibility to an unseen being, an unseen God. So if you think critically as much as you pray, you will not be where you are today. Are you following me? Are you getting anything from here? Is this prayer necessary? You judge for yourself. What is it doing to you? I've highlighted. Would I recommend anything? I would say it is better for you to meditate than for you to pray. And meditation is not something spectacular. Meditation is critical thinking. Have you heard of meditation in that wise before? Meditation is critical thinking, ability of a man to listen to himself, converse with himself, consult himself, divine himself. Ability of a man to assume the position of an oracle before an orator. Can I say it again? Ability of a man to become an oracle before an orator. You are the oracle, you are the orator. So the oratoric skill is now not left or reduced to talking now. You can be a good orator by the things you do, by the action you take. There is no solution to the problem of your life that can be found outside of who you are. I always say that what you need to get to where you want cannot be found outside of who you are. Whatever you need to get to where you want is not going to be found outside of who you are. You are exactly packaged and complete enough to get the right solution to whatever is facing you. While so many people know themselves and consult themselves at the moment of death, the moment of regret, until they are imprisoned by the government of the nation, some learn this thing very quickly and on time. And those 4% of the world population who learned this thing are the richest one over the 96% of the world population today. And what is the theory you can come up with? You call them Antichrist because they didn't put their life in the hand of God. You call them Antichrist because your Christ was not powerful over their mental capacity. Your Christ was not enough to sabotage their potential. Your Christ was not enough to turn them into a mumu. Your Christ and his name or whatever recitation or incantation you call is not enough to turn them to a stupid person like yourself. So because they don't think like you, listen to you, behave like a zombie like you do, automatically you call them antichrist. Because the name and the word Christ is the greatest chain of mankind. Look at your life right now. Look at you. Are you any better since you have been praying? If prayer is so powerful, consider the amount of prayer you have had in the past to the result you have right now. Do they complement each other? Can you compare? Or those few times you have engaged your brain and put it to work, those few times you have consulted yourself and become a divination yourself and became orator before an oracle of yourself, those few times you decided to snatch your hand from God and snatch your life from the hand of God and leave it, can you see the tremendous miracles you have performed? Can you see how better your life is? All the marriages that was concerted under the umbrella of God told me you are my wife or my spouse, where are they today? Where are they today? All those business you have, you said, I have the leading of the Holy Spirit to go into this business. How down have you run today? You see, am I saying don't pray? Am I saying prayer is bad or prayer is good? I said nothing of such. The last I will do is to tell you how to live your life. But then I will lay before you the truth. And I will tell you, do whatever you deem fit with it. Family altar. How exalted have you been now with your family altar? So you use that religion to put your children in bondage. Children that you are sending to school to go and learn, instead of them to face their studies. They wait until examination time to pray to God in hell. So when they come back home failed, you say, what kind of a child are you? Exactly the kind of a child you raise. A child who leave responsibility for unseen God when he or she could actually take their life in their hands. So those one you call nerd, those one you call smart guys, you see they don't go to fellowship with you. They don't have time for nonsense. And your child that you so raised to fear God, to observe daily routine of ritual and all that, is coming on with a pass. It's coming on with fail. And the ones you point to them and say, I don't want you to behave like this one, coming out with flying colors. And yet you are sabotaging the potential of these children. You're listening to me right now. You got young children. Stop quitting them. Can I say it again? Stop quitting them. Stop quenching them. Stop reducing them. Stop shortchanging them. Allow them to fly. They are like birds. Let them fly. Let them fly. When you put them in a cage, you make them pray forever. No butterfly can pray to anything before it flies, because this is the atmosphere of freedom. In the atmosphere of slavery, people pray. Have you noticed that? That only slaves pray. Masters don't pray. Either you pray for him to give you your daily bread, to give you your freedom, to be his favorite, to reduce your workload. Slaves always pray. Masters don't pray. They see what they want, they go for it. Would you be masters? Or you want to remain a slave? When the mind you lost can only be found by you because you are the one that lost it. Wherever you kept it, go and find it out. And the funny thing is that when you lose your mind once and you take a painstaking, you make it a painstaking task to find this mind, You will never lose it again. Even if you lose it again, you know where to find it. Slaves, pray. Masters, don't pray. I wish I can go on and on. I have a lot to tell you. I have so much to share with you. Sometimes I don't know if you are understanding what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm still speaking like a normal human being or I'm making sense. I don't know if this is helping at all. But there is more. Nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as it seems. Everything you've always known to be this is not that. They are not the same. And this subject of prayer has become a certain kind of, a special kind of placebo that was first administered for you, to you, and then you took it home to administer for yourself. Isn't that why you pray for a wayward husband to change? Forgetting that men don't change because of you. They change because they have something to lose. A woman who is a cheat will remain a cheat no matter how much you pray. Forget about the inspiration of holy what? People change because they want to change. All you have to know is to understand this is this person and this is me. Can it work? Can it not work? Move away. You pray for a man to stop beating you. How daft can you be? You pray for you to get a job when you can start one. And you pray to wake up tomorrow morning as if you put yourself to sleep now. You forgot about eating healthy, exercising well, putting security measures in place. But you believe once you pray, some angels will guide your bed. You pray about almost everything and you think about nothing else because you think someone should think for you. And that's why nothing is happening in your life. See how powerful you are. But look at how you live. See how powerful you are. Look at how you're living. You have been changed. You have been shortchanged. You have been replaced. This is not you. This is not you. Your panting to know more, your longing and your curiosity has been taken away. All of a sudden, you settled. You settled. You settled. So you would rather pay someone to help you consult instead of you to consult yourself. And whoever tells you that there is an acre of gold mine beyond the desert will always buy the one behind your house. Remember the story of Jinodu that I told you? How he was putting a bandage on the mirror, hoping that his face would be fixed. That's what you do. You put a bandage on the mirror and hoping that your face will get healed. Oh God of Isaac, Abraham, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You put a bandage on the mirror, you're expecting your face to get healed. It's not going to happen. You take yourself to another person and tell them to help you find you. How daft can one be? Absolute life of non-existence. I wish I could say more. But this should be enough for a lifetime. This is the help I'm looking for. Do me a favor, press your share button and let people also come to this light. Share this illumination with them. Never can tell the soul that you are saving right now. I told you you are the light of the world. The moment I came into that realization, I do not look for someone else to light me up. I can't do myself wrong. You are the salt of the world. Put myself in service of others. Preserve a decaying situation. You are the word of life. You can create what you want. Everything you hope for is a product of your creation. Why do you want another God to oversee the project you start? Be the God and see it through by acting on it. Go back to your dictionary, to your old jotters. Bring out your dreams. Now is the perfect time to start working on it. Age is not your limit. The moment you stop praying, acting become a way of life for you. And those who act get results. And don't you ever forget that what you need to get to where you are going to can never be found outside of who you are. And who are you? You are God. Namaste.